Welcome to my 3-year update of owning the G8. I know it's been a while, a lot of people have been asking for it, but it's here. It is now 2023. I bought it in 2020. Do the math. This is the G8's current state after 3 years. Yeah, it's sitting still. But before we get into what's broken right now, let's recap some of the things that this car has been through since my ownership. First, I gotta say, I still absolutely love this car. There is no hard feelings. This was my dream car as a kid when I was graduating high school. This was my dream dad car. So that still hasn't changed. What's going on is, as soon as I bought the car, within the first 6 months, I started having the typical G8 issues. So if you're interested in buying a G8, make sure you know what those things are. Like the DOD system, the carrier bearing issues. Yeah, it's just little things. It's a car. It's a pretty reliable car, but it does, like every car, has its downfalls. If you've watched some of my old videos, you'll kind of see some of If you've seen some of my old videos, you kind of have seen some of this progression of some of the problems that I've had with this car. So one of the first issues that I ended up having was I ended up having to replace the alternator. I did a video on that. It was pretty straightforward. The alternator's kind of buried down there, so it's not the most simple alternator change, but it's pretty straightforward. After I had knocked out the alternator, the dreaded DOD system failed. My lifter started ticking. I had made a little clip of that and posted it on YouTube to help people understand what that sounds like. So we ended up going to find a guy locally and we got it fixed. It cost me a little bit of money, but we found some other problems. We needed to do a carrier bearing as well, and it needed to get a tune. So that was what ended up happening. When I paid him to do the DOD delete, what I decided to do is just get a simple LS9 cam. I plan on doing an LSA supercharger in the future. I felt like that would go well. Go ahead and have it done now. Never open this motor up again. Pretty simple OEM plus style. This car was always supposed to be just a highway cruiser. Nothing too crazy, maybe E85, something like that. To, you know, have some fun with the boys every now and then, and if I end up getting kids, to end up taking them to school or something like that. That's all it was supposed to be for. Well, doing that, the car ended up getting a little bit more horsepower. So I ended up going to dyno it later, and it ended up putting down about 368 horsepower to the wheels. Not too shabby for a basically stock car. By the way, Blazing High Performance in Durham, awesome guys if you have G8 stuff and you're in the area. The reason I went to them anyway was because I was starting to have some weird issues with my transmission. I think the previous tune from the DOD delete was set to be pretty harsh, and then I was also having some shifting issues. I don't know if y'all remember that in the last video. But what I ended up doing is the thing that every G8 owner should do, and that's get a Camaro pan and a Camaro pickup tube and run an extra fluid. You're supposed to run more fluid than the manufacturer requires to keep these transmissions healthy. I also heard that putting a trans cooler on these transmissions is actually very beneficial. So if you want to do that, you can get them off of Caprices, I believe, or the SS's. So after getting the trans done, I ended up fixing the fans. The fans were making a really, really loud noise. I got those fixed. So yeah, after taking my car to Blazing High Performance, I was on cloud 9. Everything felt great. Everything was driving fine. I had to get my transmission tuned. We put a stock GXP auto tune on there, and it started shifting much better after the little bit of work that we did, and I was smooth sailing from there. After going to see the boys at Blazing High Performance, I ended up deciding to upgrade the wheels and tires. I went with these Oddhan DS08s, I believe they're called. They're running 275s. They're 9.5 wide, plus 35 offset. Bought them from Fitness Industries on Black Friday one year, and they have been doing me great. I love the way they feel. I prefer the 18s over the 19s. Those have been awesome, and it's a great alternative than your typical 20s and 19 upgrades. When I was upgrading the wheels right before, I ended up doing the struts myself. I kind of dicked it up a little bit, but they have been holding on pretty strong. Would love to do coilovers at some point when money, you know, persists. My struts have been doing pretty well. I did the peddlers, something shocks, and I kept my Eibach lowering springs. I'm not a huge Eibach fan, but they've been doing what they need to do with this car. Oh, I almost forgot. I ended up having to replace this hood vent. It cracked right here. I think I have a photo of it. Well, that piece flew off, and then I replaced this one. This is actually an orange one that is wrapped matte black. I also took off the 5% tint and re-tinted it completely. I'm not gonna say my percentages, but I do pass tint. I also added window spoiler up top, and I added the wicker bill that most of us have. So after that, you know, I thought I was in the clear. I thought everything was gonna be good. I started driving it every day. I probably put a good 20,000 miles on the car, drove it to Atlanta, did all this stuff. And then next thing you know, I came back from Atlanta and it started ticking again. Guys, I have merch for sale. Look at this. Only the Holden guys know what this is. But yeah, these shirts are awesome. My buddy Dan helped me design them. I'm very happy with how the merchandise has been coming out. Y'all may not know, I don't even know if I've announced this on the channel yet, but CAR-NIVORES sells merch now. So check out the website, carnivores.net, with the dash in it, and I'll link it down below so that y'all can get it. But yeah, we got merch, and that money goes straight to helping me out with these projects if y'all love these projects as much as I do. As you can clearly hear, this thing is ticking. So I started to get kind of pissed off. I just did this DOD delete not even 20 to 30,000 miles ago. Why are we back here? Why are we here again? Well, as soon as the car is warmed up, it doesn't tick anymore. So I guess I just chose, fuck it, I'm gonna just keep driving it like that. As long as it's not ticking while I'm, you know, cruising down the road and it's warmed up, I guess it's not a huge problem. I'm just gonna drive it until it explodes because I'm not about to put another $3,000 into this car. So yeah, that is pretty annoying. I did not like that. So I kinda just ignored it for now, like whatever. It is what it is at this point. But god damn it, does she look good and does she sound good? She's a little dirty right now, but she's still great. So at this point, I'm pretty stressed out, but I'm keeping it moving, right? Well, all of a sudden I start hearing the carrier bearing again. And I started doing some Googling. If you buy the aftermarket one, it's pretty trash. I didn't choose which one was put on. I don't even know which one was put on. But they can go bad in 20,000 miles, which is about what I was at when it started hearing that little knocking in the rear of the car. When you're accelerating really hard, that's how you know your carrier bearing is bad. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not ticking anymore. It's only been like a couple of minutes. So that was a little bit annoying as well, but then the real kicker starts. Now all of a sudden the car's starting to shift weird. What the heck? I've already gotten the transmission taken care of, everything was fine. What happened? Well, that's a good question. I actually don't know. I believe what is happening is the torque converter is failing. So right now I can start accelerating, and basically what happens is it may or may not go, and then it'll just knock itself into gear and start going. And when I'm under high load, but like if I'm cruising down the highway at 80 with low RPMs, but I need to like go uphill or accelerate a little bit more, it starts to kind of jerk a little bit. I'm gonna try my best to get it to do what I was talking about the transmission. Oh, there we go. That was quick. So yeah, after that, I just parked it. I decided that with the combination of problems that it has, that it is time to go ahead and get my vet back on the road. If you don't know, I have a C5 vet, and it's been broken since 2021 because I was starting to put money into this thing when I was supposed to be putting money into that. But once again, I still love this car. This car is fucking awesome. I have just had a stroke of bad luck. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a person who worked on the car previous problem. I'm definitely taking it to Blazin or someone else that I know a little bit better, do the next little bit of work this car is going to need. So yeah, that's what's going on with the G8 right now. I still highly recommend these cars, but I definitely will not recommend using them as something that you want to. I can't even confidently say that because there's so many people with 200 to 300,000 mile G8s and have had no problems. So I think I just got unlucky. I still love this car. This car's going nowhere. So anyway, so what's next? What's next for the car? Well, I actually don't know, because if you saw in the yard, I have a problem. I have a few extra projects. I'm building the vet right now, which I'm very, very excited for. Putting all my money towards that. It is that car's turn. This car is going to sit for now. I have a couple of choices. I can either sell it and get what I can for it. It still runs and drives, even though it's not perfect. But I can sell it, or I can hold on to it, fix it. It really depends on how money goes, yada yada. But since it's driving, I didn't want to drive it more and break it more. I'd rather just figure out what's wrong with it now, let it sit, drive it once a week, blah blah blah, and just keep it moving. But yeah, I wanted to knock this out real quick. You know, cell phone footage, a little bit different than usual. A little 3-year update. A lot of people have been asking for it. I'm sorry it's taking so long. I've changed jobs. So much has been happening in personal life right now. My brother works for Donut Media. Sorry if y'all thought I was him the entire time. I am not Justin, I am James. Anyway, appreciate you checking it out. Thanks for tuning in to the CAR-NIVORES YouTube channel. Y'all have a good one. It's time to eat.